the Transmission Gully opened back in March. And guess what? I just have to guess what it costs to open. So normally you open something, you get the Minister, the council. If you're turning the sod, you spray some gold paint on a shovel, right? Oh, yeah, the golden shovel, and you turn the first sod. Or you just get a piece of ribbon and some scissors and go snap. Yeah, that's it. Get the local paper there, take the picture, bob's your wombat. And maybe some scones. New Zealand, maybe have some scones afterwards.
Sausage rolls, don't forget them.
Sausage rolls, scones, cup of tea, everyone smiles for the cameras, and off you go. That is, and not a high-cost exercise that, you wouldn't have thought. You just pray that the weather holds. But the March 30th opening ceremony for the highly coveted, and as we said, long-awaited Transmission Gully, cost nearly, get this, $337,000. Costs for the ceremony included planning, venue and equipment hire. When you had a whole road, I would presume that would be your venue, traffic management, and, of course, transport for guests. ACT Transport spokesman Simon Court says that while the new motorway was a great piece of infrastructure, and I concur, it could have been celebrated by opening it up a day earlier so people could use it, which would have cost nothing at all. Very good point. He also noted that the price tag was enough money for 105 families, $337,000, remember, to fill up their petrol tank once a fortnight for a year. I think that's quite a clever comparison. Enough to fund 5 nurses and enough to fund 3 kilometres of asphalt, which, of course, is what roads are made of. The $336,000, let's call it $337,000, would likely have been used also to the local council, whose roading budget was recently reduced. Well, joining us now is the Mayor of Porirua, my old stomping ground, Anita Baker. She also is somewhat shocked to learn of the costs and says if the parties involved had known, there would have been pushback. Anita, Mayor Baker, welcome to the platform.
Morning.
All right, good to see you, Anita. Boy, that's a hell of a budget, isn't it? When did you find out how much it had cost to open the road?
When the media rang me and asked me what I thought, and I thought they were taking the ... out of me. Sorry, I thought it was a joke.
Really?
I'm stunned. What can you say? That's a lot of potholes in my city, or we actually could have had the internet on. I went to Kapiti yesterday, and you cannot use the phone between Porirua and Kapiti because there is no internet. So if you break down, what do you do?
Actually, that's a good point, because we've had a lot of people saying I can't get the platform in my car when I'm driving on Transmission Gully. So where did that money come from? Whose budget did that come from? From Waka Kotahi or the Ministry of Department of Transport, as we call it here on the platform?
I'd like to know. I've written to the Minister yesterday asking, please tell us why and where it's come from, because honestly, we could have split that budget between Kapiti and Porirua, and that's a lot for our local roads.
Okay. So, Anita, did you go to the opening? Did you get an invite, though?
I did get an invite, yes. We drove up there and we had to be at the park at Paikakariki, and there was a venue there where we had some
I want you to walk me through this, because I'm just going to try and add it up. So it's held in Paikok?
Paikok at the park, so we all park there. We roll in there. There were some coffee carts there. Yeah. Then we get on buses and we are driven to where they had it on the main alignment. Yeah. We had the walk-up function.
How many buses, Anita? But from memory?
Oh, God. 3, maybe?
3 or 4. So how many guests, how many VIPs and people like you do you think on the buses? So we got 3 buses, 80 each, 160, 200, 300?
There was probably a few hundred people there.
Okay, 300.
Of course, at a guess, the iwi had come, they were already there because they had blessed the alignment, so they had a big group on the other side. And the Prime Minister obviously came, and the ministers came in their own cars. And then we went back to that venue and had some breakfast. I had a Danish pastry and
when you say venue, is this a building or did they put up a tent?
Put up a tent.
A marquee. Okay. So you have a marquee back at Paikokariki after you've been up and done the... And the opening ceremony involved what? Everyone standing around?
There was chairs, we sat down, we had the blessings, there was a fair few speeches, the Prime Minister cut the ribbon, and then we went back again.
So it was just... We only got a ribbon cutting for this. There were no fireworks? There was
fireworks.
There was no one smashing a bottle of champagne? There was no Air Force flyby?
No.
I just want to check. No marching band?
No, there was a golf cart if you couldn't walk up that way.
The golf cart, that's one. I wonder what the price for that was. Sounds like it was a gold-plated golf cart. Were there any bands?
No.
Any DJs? Because we know the Prime Minister's fond of DJs. No bands, no DJ, no live music.
Sorry.
Was there a PA system, like a microphone system up there?
Yes, there was.
Okay, the PA. Now, that's going to cost something. You know that's going to cost something. So we got the buses. We got the tent back at the venue. How big was the tent? Was it like something you could have a wedding in?
Yes, similar to that, because they had a couple of those up, and they had, I think, about 3 coffee carts, doing coffee. And then we just there was food, pastries and things like that.
The buses cost about $500 each, we're told. We're just trying to figure out the cost here. Anita, this is great fun. So,
well, I suspect the traffic control would have been a lot, because they had to stop the traffic going, for the buses to go in and across. So they had a lot of traffic control, and that stuff's really expensive.
Oh, but you see, look, come on, those orange cones, they're everywhere all the time. They almost move around independently of human endeavour. Okay, so road control.
I think we have the highest number of cones in the world.
Yeah, we do. They breed. All right, so you had a couple of coffee carts. Tell us about the pastries. Was it flash stuff? Was there caviar?
No, just plain old pastries, and I think they had some bacon egg muffin or bacon muffins or something. I'm not sure.
Bacon muffins. Do you know where they were from? Did it say where they were from some fancy patisserie in Wellington, or they were just like from the pie shop down the road?
Honestly, I don't know who did the catering. I have got no clue. I didn't take any notice, because and we got a brochure which was in the Dominion Post the next day on it. Obviously there was a coloured sort of insert that went into the paper, so everybody got one of those. Okay, so that was part. Any other goodie bag things that you got? No. No, we just got to drive on the road. No, drive on the road to come home early. So they had a car in front of us, and a group of us were able to drive home on it. Okay, in your own cars. All right. I just want to get no booze, no champagne. No juice. Juice. What sort of juice? Pomegranate. I don't know, because I don't drink it. Juice. So I don't, but let's just say they had some Fresh Up, or maybe some Fresh Up or some Vita Fresh or something. That was real. You cannot find $337,000 for that in there. I can't see you cannot. Look, that's what I'm just trying to figure out, because that you would think it must all be the traffic control. So why didn't they just open it without having to spend extra on traffic control? Because that would have freed up. Because, of course, and we've already talked about this with cycleways with an Auckland councillor this morning, Anita, of course, your budget or your subsidy, about half your roading and infrastructure is paid to you by a subsidy from Waka Kotahi, isn't it? Yeah, and we had that drop that got reduced. How much did they reduce that by for Porirua? Excuse me, it came down from something like 55 to 50. I'd have to double check, but I wasn't happy about that. But we could have zoomed for this. If we'd known the cost, I would have been happy for the Prime Minister to go up and cut a ribbon by herself, and we could have zoomed in. Because, seriously, we did our link roads. We met in the Waitangaroa car park. We jumped on one small bus, like a small bus, because there weren't that many of us. Mini bus. We stopped in one spot, the one spot, the iwi blessed the road. We had a quick walk and we came back, and that was it. We didn't do anything else. Okay. No food, no... Well, were there media? Were there a lot of media around the Prime Minister when she opened the road? Yes, lots. Lots. But we had media. Yeah. We had media on our bus. Yeah. Okay, so there's a little bit of that in it, isn't it? That it's a good look for the Prime Minister to be opening something rather than closing something.
So there was a PR opportunity. What was the weather like that day?
Actually, it was lovely.
It was
nice
day.
in the end.
So no extra charge for umbrellas.
Nice.
Yeah, no extra charge for umbrellas. Hey, I drove the road for the first time. I went up to Auckland Sunday and came back last night. It's a pretty good road, actually.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's the best thing ever for our city. It's working brilliantly. We love it. It's great for all our suburbs. Love the road, but we definitely need to get that internet connection between Kapiti and Porirua. Because when I was driving yesterday, I got to Pauahatanui and I thought, am I seeing things? And I double checked. There was a car had gone the wrong way on the motorway and it was in the fast lane, indicating to turn around.
Yeah.
But I couldn't bring that through because there was no internet.
Ah, gotcha.
So he did a turnaround and there was two cars that went around him. So he was an older man who obviously had got on the wrong way. Yeah. But you couldn't ring something like that through. Now, I know they've got cameras, but yeah.
Okay, so the idea is whose responsibility is it to provide the internet connection on that stretch of road?
Well, it is theirs. They've meant to have put it in and they never put it in the beginning. So they're going to have to retrofit.
Okay, and how do they do that? Do you put up a couple of towers or something, or do you...
You'd have to, wouldn't you?
You run your wireless router, plug your wireless router somewhere.
I wish I knew, because there's a lot of downtime when you're driving on that road.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible, but you can drive and talk and get a lot of business done in that short time.
Yeah. Oh, you just got to be careful about talking too much on the phone. I'm just warning you might be getting a caution notice, you know.
I was yelling at Siri yesterday.
Make sure it's hands-free. Make sure it's hands-free and Siri's doing the dialing. Anita, could I also ask you, who then owns and operates the road? Because it was built, gosh, there were all sorts of different plans for who was going to build it. It was a PPP in the end. Who now has responsibility for the road?
The partnership has to look after it. I think they've got 20 years on it to do repairs and maintenance and look after the road. I think that boils down to Ventia looking after it.
Okay.
I think that's the group.
And they're a private company?
Yeah. So they're based at Pauahatanui there.
Yeah, okay. Do you have any input as clearly a relevant local body? Do you have any say on what happens with the road or any mechanism by which you can talk to those who are operating the road?
I'm sure our road transport group probably can talk to them, but we can't alter that. We can only do our own roads, our local roads.
Yeah. Now, Paul says great. We reckon the traffic management, Anita, probably only 30 to 50K.
Oh, okay.
And the iwi blessing, 7K.
Okay.
So
was it the gold-plated Zoom invitations then?
Oh, no. Tell it. Hey, you left that out. Tell us about the gold-plated Zoom invitations.
No, it wasn't. I was just being stupid. Sorry.
Oh, no.
As in the email invitation. Sorry. I was just being smart.
Did it come like with a gilt card or something, like for a wedding?
No, it was just an invitation via email.
Geez, okay. So that cost next. It is really hard to find where all this. Because what are we at, Paul? We're about 37, 40K.
We're not quite at 100
Oh,
yet.
come on. We got the catering. What are we going to say for the catering?
Well, it's 250,000 sausage rolls.
Yeah. Let's say
rolls.
$5,000 for the catering for 300 people, 5 or 6. Let's say 10. Let's throw in 10 for the catering. So now we're at best estimate, let's say 50K for the road management, 7K for the iwi blessing, 10
for coffee.
10K for coffee, you reckon? How good was it?
A lot of coffee cups.
How good was it? Was it like barista style or instant?
Yeah. No, it was the baristas. They were
okay. Well, that's $5 a cup. We got 300 people. Some people have 2 cups. Do the math. Could you do the math quickly for me, Paul?
I wasn't listening too closely to this.
So $5.
10K.
10K. Let's go 10K. 10, 20, 27 and 50 is 77. So we're still about $200,000 to $250,000 short, aren't we?
I'll happily take that for my potholes.
And Jolly, how much does it cost to fix a pothole?
That depends on how many times they've been left and how many white circles go around them.
I'm still asking for your cost benefit analysis here, and now you're being dodgy about it. Okay, Anita.
Well, I actually haven't got the answer.
Yeah. So who should we ask that question to? Who should we get that answer for?
The cost of a pothole. Well,
No. Where all this money went? Someone's got to be accountable.
I've gone to Minister Wood and asked him. So I'm guessing the invitations came from Emma Spate at Wakakotahi. She's the Lower North Island director who looks after
Can I just have her name again? We'll give her a buzz today. Emma
Spate.
Yeah, and how's the Spate spelled?
Speight.
Right, Spate's the beer, but without the S. That'd cost you extra.
She's the director of the director of regional relationships for Greater Wellington and top of the South Island.
Director of regional relationships. Has she directed any relationships with you? I mean, has she been in contact? You must know who she was. You're a regional.
I know her. Yes, had plenty of conversations with her. Yes.
Okay, that's good. We'll get hold of her. We might get some more information from you after this. Hey, back to kind of a more practical question. I was mentioning earlier, I grew up in Plymouton and Porirua. I was a foundation pupil at Aotea College. My mum was a draftsperson at the Porirua City Council in the building I'm presuming you're sitting in now, and I developed a love of books waiting for mum to finish work in the library downstairs.
And I think you gave me my first media training.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did too. I did too. That's right, Anita. You're doing very well, by the way. I think you're nailing it. I would say that. You've been so well media trained. How has the road, and this is the thing I always thought of, taking away all that through traffic from that whole stretch of coast is going to change, and I would have thought improve the nature and the appeal of those communities, and also the commute for people living Porirua, Plymouton, Papakowhai, Whitby. That's got to have got much, much easier. Have you been up the coast? Has the vibe changed? Has it become less pressured? Is it nicer with less traffic there?
They're loving it. They absolutely love it. The Plymouton and Mana, they said there's no noise. They can sleep at night. There's not even any humming. You can get in and out of the suburbs and Pukerua Bay. You could cross the road where you couldn't cross the road before because of the traffic. Everybody's loving it, and that's our future growth area. Yeah. And you can also, if you don't want to get on TG, use the old road. And it's quick now because there's not lots of traffic on it.
I actually had a moment almost heading up on Sunday. I thought, maybe there'll be no traffic. I'll just take the old road.
Yeah, and there isn't. There's hardly any. And everybody in Whitby is using the link roads rather than round State Highway 58 and Parramatta Road. So that's really quiet. So it's just changed the city. It's for the better.
Yeah. Despite, and we're gonna have to get to the bottom of that. How much does your average... Okay, and here's another question for you, Anita. Gosh, you've done well because I didn't pre-brief you on anything. How much, when Bob from Accounts retires at Porirua City Council and you give him his morning team, what do you budget for that on average?
We don't do morning tea. So we don't have lunches or morning tea for councils. We got rid of all of that. So bring your own. There's tea and coffee, instant coffee, on the floors, but everybody goes out and gets their own. For council, we go out and have lunch together and go around different cafes. We all pay for our own food. I'm about to go into audit and risk in 3 minutes, so the budgeting.
Hey, Anita, lovely to talk to you. It is a bizarre story. Thank you for taking us there. We will investigate further. And good luck with your audit or budget and risk meeting as well. Lovely to talk to you. Anita Baker, the Mayor of Porirua, and an incredibly good sport. But underlying this is a real issue, an issue of just how much we spend or someone got away with, and it's exactly like what we talked on earlier. There's a theme here this morning, the cycleways, and just massive budget blowouts. But how could anyone have sat in a meeting and said, let's spend $337,000 arranging for the Prime Minister to cut a ribbon on a road?